All righty, here we are. Here's the
We
tail.
are.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is
Hmm.
good morning,
Good
Tammy.
morning, Julie. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna say what exactly lame thing I just did, but basically it was a tech thing and I couldn't hear Julie, and all along had been on my part and it was something really stupid. So
And
I'm in shame right now.
and no need to be
Oh
in
my
shame because I
gosh.
told her I did exactly the same thing. So we'll just leave it. We'll leave it at
Oh
that.
my gosh, you should see
Um,
this. Okay, anyway. Well, I'm so glad to be back with you. I've missed you.
I missed you
I've
too,
missed you, my friend.
and our audience missed you. I'm pretty sure. So,
Oh,
as
well, I know you went, I know you did something, and I have not had a chance to catch up on many things, including that. I want to watch it though at some point. So
yeah.
thank you for doing that on behalf of both of us.
It was, do you know, okay, I just have to share this, and maybe you guys can tell me out there, and Tammy, you can tell me this too. I went back and I watched my channel from last week, and I have watched my channels before, and I'm like, do they make sense?
Oh, you mean what was said, you mean, or what do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, I can really tell that I'm channeling because I'm like, am I rambling? What is
Oh, I see
happening?
what you're saying.
It's I mean, hopefully they make sense to you because
I know what you
I'm
mean.
like, wow, that just was what that was like tangential and I don't know. It was interesting to watch my own channel. That's
Yes,
all I can.
I've done that same thing before. I know what you mean. Like I'll rewatch something. I'll say, did I say all that? It's like, but yeah, same thing. It's like, hope that, hope that message was something people understood. But yeah, it's
Yes.
interesting.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that. You always sound clear and sensical to me. So
And same for you. Yeah. No, I've never thght that ever when I'm like, maybe when we're listening to each other. I
oh
don't
my,
know.
do you know, I think Mercury exited retrograde today. So
Yeah.
maybe we're on a or maybe it was the remnants.
Today was must have been remnants. Yeah. On my part, definitely. But anyway, I guess we should introduce our two psychic moms, huh? You're viewing two psychic moms. Thank you for viewing us. And just this is where Julie and I just, we channel and chat about lots of different things. So whatever spirit gives us, we like to share with you through channeling. And then sometimes we're just chatting about things and all that good stuff. So
I have cat stuff too, so we'll
oh, good.
get to that hopefully. But
Excellent.
ay
Excellent.
ay. So yeah, my channel. So well, I'm glad you're back because Tammy went on a little trip to celebrate her anniversary. So how was your trip?
Yes, thank you for asking. It was wonderful. Went to Carmel for just a couple of nights, and it was our 30th wedding anniversary. So that's why usually we would probably do something a little bigger, but because of just still pandemic things and all that, we're still just a little, well, we just didn't plan anything, that you would have to plan way out in advance. So this was a great getaway. It was very, very nice to just kind of chill and walk around and shop and go to the beach and all that fun stuff. So thanks for asking. It was wonderful.
The weather, it was nice there.
Yeah, it was actually. It was better than I thought. It was going to be like low 60s, but it actually, the sun was out. Of course, the day that we leave, was a little warmer, which I knew from, looking ahead. But even so, we had a beautiful time. It could have been worse, could have been better, kind of thing, but definitely could have been worse. So yeah, weather-wise. But the whole thing was really nice. So
I'm so glad.
I really enjoyed. Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you.
I was talking to my friend the other day, and I'm like, where did the time go? I'm just going to be really, really brutally honest here. I have been not consumed, but it has the things in process about getting onto Medicare because I turned 65 in September.
Yay.
And yes, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I want to retire, like not fully. I mean, I'll continue to do these things, but I don't want to make the push to do all the marketing like I used to do. And I just don't want to do that stuff anymore. I don't care about sales calls and numbers, and I want to channel and do readings because that's what brings me joy, and it will, happen as much as it happens, and all is, and that's what that's about. But um, it was like, where did the time go? So
I know, right? Isn't that so true about so many things? I mean, we all say that, don't we? Where did the time go? Which really is just
yeah,
such a reminder of how there really is no time.
exactly.
Right?
It's so funny. They were just talking as you were saying that too, just about yeah, it's um, it's a lifetime well spent, and uh, I mean, they're saying that to me, but we feel that way for everybody. Your life is what you. We say this over and over because it's the truth. Is what you signed up for, even if it's not what you thought it was what you signed up for. Because
Mhm.
so many of us think that, it's like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up to reinvent myself 3 times, after 50.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I didn't sign up for that. But but somewhere along the line, I signed up for something like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
Right.
it's okay. It's good.
Yeah. It is okay.
Consent. Yeah.
That's right. That's well said. And yeah, when you say like for people who are all the more like what I got for you right when you were saying that, like I didn't, really sign, but obviously I did kind of sign up for it. Is like, yeah, that was part of the lesson for you, is what I feel like, is that it was going to be something about in the other half of your life, in a sense, right? So again, we don't really put the time is irrelevant, really, but that's what it was going to, almost like the agreement would be. Well, we know time is fluid and time really doesn't exist on the airplane when you're on the big puffy cloud deciding to come in, right, or whatever. So you're thinking like, that's what I was getting, is like there was there was a big lesson for you in the second part, in a sense, of your life, and this reinvention. And a lot of people jump onto that agreement and do that sort of thing in a lifetime. So that in itself is a lesson for you, or an experience. Doesn't even have to be a lesson. It might just be an experience that you needed.
And it's fascinating that you say that. Yes, it's all very true and correct. It's like things happen not just in our own lives, but global. We'll say globally, and globally can be, family, friends, community, locals, government, bigger, and of course global, as in a pandemic. And so much, I think, and they are saying and agree, so much has been learned for so many people who never expected any of this, and we are still in a big learning curve. They're saying, they said, oh, you are not done yet. I'm like, and they mean the big global we.
Yeah.
um, there is so much more ahead. Trials, tri- really trials by fire for people in the United States, as you come to grips with who you want to be as a nation. Um, and it's interesting. I was thinking back. I watched the movie Selma, which I had never seen before, and it was on the other night on TV, and I
Mhm.
watched. I missed the first half hour of it because I forgot. But anyway, I all of this, that truly, that these things that are taking place today happened in the 60s. And I'm like, every and they told me this, that every not generation, but about every 60 to 70 years, we go through these these trials, these experiences. And they're saying that you, as in we, as s- uh, a country, have to decide, who do we want to be going forward, and what is it that we hang on to, what is it that we're afraid to let go of. Because as your guys have said so many times, Tammy, and I just, it's so true. What is the fear? There's all of this is really based in fear. And so what is the perceived fear that's happening, that you, not, maybe not our group, because we're technically kind of like-minded, but a lot of the people that are fighting this current state of government, what is it that they're afraid of? And so I'm curious. I mean, they'll tell me what they think they're afraid of, but I'm curious if we can get comments to that from people. Um, I'd like to hear that. But you know, what's your guides? What's their take on this? So
Well, if you could give me a topic, you mean like on kind of just the whole global kind of thing,
no,
what you're talking about? Or,
so the topic is, all right, here's a topic. I'm going to give you a topic. Talk amongst yourselves. If you're old enough to remember, that's from Saturday Night Live many decades ago.
yeah, it sounded familiar.
It's it's this it's what's happening with civil rights, and what some will call voter suppression, and some will call it, you know, that those people believe that the vote was stolen. And so the current state of the lie that was perpetuated, that somehow this um, vote was stolen from the former president. But it we don't want to go on that down that tangential path. But the underlying issue about that is it's civil rights.
Yeah, yeah.
It's civil rights and segregation and integration, and something that we thought as a country we addressed 60 years ago, and we're reliving it as a country today, 60
You know,
years later.
yeah, absolutely. You know what's interesting, Julie, is what my guides always go back to is how the world really is just, I don't know the proper wordage to use, but we're just always circling back to things.
Yep.
And that, this world is not about conquering, making it right, and then whew, we're done.
Right.
You said that this is not what you agree to coming to the earth plane. So there's going to be the chaos. There's going to be unrest in the political, views and that whole arena, because it's not really about anybody wins. It's about the experiences of what you get opportunity to jump into something that you're passionate about and have a voice about and try to do something about. And so then that causes, of course, all the things that we see, and like you said, things that had happened way long ago are still, for the most part, some of them are problems still now, or they rear their ugly heads is what I hear every so often, for us to take a look at again. But actually, it's not so much about let's do something about it, get it done. Though sometimes I think things do get that way. It is more about, oh, look at all this opportunity you have to to play. And it may not be free play, but you know what I mean? It's like,
and your guides are right, 100%. And my guides are saying the same thing. And yet I personally, as a human, don't see it as play, and I see it as,
I know.
yeah, they're right. They're right. So
But you know what? I love that you said that, because then that shows again how each individual comes in. It sits within us all differently, doesn't it?
It sure does.
And again, many of us have certain causes and beliefs that we come in really wanting to be a part of and wanting to maybe do something about it, and maybe get really triggered by them. I think we all have something, that we feel passionate about in that way. Perfect, they just said. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we to do with that, guides? Well, what do you want to do with it? They're always going back to like free will and all that. It's your playground. That's why we use the word play, because we don't need, some of it's not fun, as we know, right? I mean, war and things like that are really deep, deep subjects and kind of energy. That's not such good stuff. But we all don't have to play in that arena, they say sometimes. Now, some of us could say, well, we're all affected by it. Well, are you? If you want to be, you're affected by it. You could be affected by it because you live in the area where it's happening. You could be affected by it because you choose to be affected by it. Or you could live in your own la la land, which is often what I do. And I'm saying that with humor because I'm not saying that's a good thing necessarily. Okay, let me
No,
just,
it's a choice
but
and it's a fine choice.
yeah, I tend to just, that's why I've always said, with you, Julie, that I'm not really in the political part of things too much, mainly because I think maybe it's too much energy for me. That could be my protection, is to just kind of not be that engaged. I am to a degree. I mean, I do care about things, and I might have my opinions on some things, but I find that I kind of back off from that, and it could be because it's something I know I can't. Well, yeah, I hesitate to say really do much about, because yes, the power in the people, and we all have to make our voices heard and all that. Although that doesn't always matter. They said, that's true. We've seen times that people are, fighting for something, and decisions are already made behind the scenes with certain leaders and things like that, that not a whole lot's going to change. I hate to say that. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go for what you believe in, because really that's the journey. That's what I keep getting.
So
That's the journey, is your experience in doing it.
I want, so I know what my guides would say to this. They're like, how do you know? I'm like, so I'll pose the question that maybe some of our viewers might pose, which is, what do you see ahead for our democracy? Will it survive? Because it is, it, I see it and they see it. They're saying to me, we are at a tipping point.
Yeah.
And they just said to me, it is not written yet, but.
And Julie, let me ask you, when you say, and only so I can clarify, when you mean at a tipping point of like, what are you saying could happen? And then I'm going to look at this a little bit too.
So how I view it is, if we as a country persist with allowing our government to choose who gets to vote, rather than we saying who we want to vote for, which is what happens um, when they call it gerrymandering. It's what happens when they go in and manipulate certain areas geographically, and by both parties.
Yeah.
This is not party specific. Then it ends up being that those politicians choose who votes for them, rather than we as a
I see what you're saying.
republic get to choose who represents us.
Right. Right.
And that is it is doing this. It's they keep saying to me it's buoyant. I don't know what that means. It floats back and forth.
Yeah, it does. Until we start seeing, they're saying, until we start noticing and we start seeing how this isn't working. How long does it have to take to see that this viewpoint, this way of I don't know, political stuff is basically what they're saying, isn't working. And so this goes till somebody starts backing. It's almost like two sides start backing off enough to they show me people that are in the middle come in that can start changing the whole political scenario. Does that make sense to you? So in other words, like, so
And
we start freeing up this or this.
so I feel personally, and then we'll see what they say, that our current president is much more inclined to want to do that, because he's old school, and I think personally, I think we needed that. But we need, I don't want to get political either. I think that we have that person, is what I'm saying. And so
Yeah.
I just want to ask them. They said the fight is on. The fight is on, and both sides are dug in. And you're right. And just like you said, your guide said, we need to find somebody who is willing to come and somehow bring those sides together.
Yeah.
And really say to each of them, we are not so far apart. If we leave the politicians out of it, we are not far apart. We all want the same things. We all want to thrive. We all want to feel love and be loved. We
Yeah.
all want to have a livelihood. We all want to feel safe. We all want what's best for our children. We all want the same thing, and we all want to feel respected. And those are common values that we all share. And it's like, if people could focus on that,
Yeah.
then
You know what I keep
we have
getting? I agree with you completely. And I keep getting they're waiting there. I don't know how to say it. We're waiting for that opening. That opening, yeah, we can say, with every, political leader that comes in, maybe the current president now is more likely to be on that side of things. But then, there's the other that are, there's always going to be this. So we're not there yet. That's what they're saying. We're not there yet. We're not there yet where we can get that, somebody can get that foot in the opening in there to really be able to
And
bring it.
I want to know from them what they think is really the fundamental problem. Because if we all want the same things,
Yeah, what's the
generally speaking,
fundamental problem?
what's
They keep
the
showing me,
fundamental problem?
it's a great question. They keep showing me the word ego. Welcome to the earth plane.
Yeah.
This is what they're saying. This is why they're saying we're not so sure it's ever going to come to what we ideally, just as you were speaking of, which makes sense. But if really this is the kindergarten and great place to act out our egos and to also learn about ego and how it really ultimately doesn't serve you. It can sometimes, I think, but you know what I mean. I mean, depending how you're looking at it. This is the practice we're having, the experiences we're having. So ego is a big part of this. I mean, and until others can really lay down their swords and say we truly are all one. And as Julie was saying, we all, have the same actually ultimate goals. And then there might be the room that I literally see somebody else steps in. A
We-
leader that is in the middle ground.
We want to add, in addition to ego, and maybe this is part of ego, as you see it, we want to add that it's very greed, it's very money, power driven greed. And
Yeah.
and my response is, how much is enough?
Yeah, I want to look to that, not answer it, but I want to look into that. How much is enough, guides? How much is enough?
Ooh, they said,
Okay, go ahead.
my guys just said, to some, enough, what you think of as enough will never be enough.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. Yeah, exactly. Because they're saying to me, well, until how much is enough? Until you come to that point, you see, where it's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about what the values really are that we need to be addressing and we need to be in agreement with. But again, they keep going to ego. And I would agree with you. The greed is under that umbrella of ego. And so again, I've gotten so many times with things that are going on in the world, and the chaos and the things that we have happening. Really, we have to understand, our guides say that we come into this earth plane, onto this earth plane, not necessarily to solve the world's problems, but what you might come in is to have that experience of trying.
Yep.
And to be a part of that. Will there ever come a time when it happens? When? No. I just get no.
Yeah, we got that too.
Yeah.
Because there's no growth and joy without the conflict.
Yes, exactly. And there are other, there's other, we'll say, planets, other existences where you can have more of that, where you can go and be a part of that love and that, that peace and that, but Earth, I don't feel like the Earth plane is really meant for that. Which I want to say again, we don't mean to think like, well, everybody kind of goes, well, crap, why am I here then? It's more like, wow, look what you did, right? You made a choice to come here to have, as we've said many times, to have all these experiences, some happy, some not so happy, but amazing. That's self-love. That's like, hey, I'm willing to try and do this and be a voice and exercise that. It's all for your growth. It's all for experience.
It is all for growth. Wow.
Yeah.
It's an interesting pathway we took today.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, I love your shirt. I'm going totally off topic here, but I've been meaning to say I love your shirt. That is adorable.
Thanks, Tarjay. Thank you. So I want to be cognizant of our time.
I am good, by the way. I'm good. Yes.
Okay, so technical difficulties, we got started late, but so I love that. Thank you so much. And I want to transition to kitties if you're ready for that, because
Yes.
I had on a higher, it's not even a higher note. It wasn't a higher note for me. So one of my, thank you so much. And thank you to our guides, because
Yes.
they love that. They love when we ask these questions. So,
Yeah. Thank you, Julie, for all your wonderful words.
So, so a few days ago, maybe even more than a few days, maybe a week now, maybe it was last week, Maggie May disappeared.
Oh.
And she's one of the two ferals that I let go out.
Mhm.
And she adores me when she's in. She's very affectionate. But she disappeared. I could 2 days, never saw her. I was just like, oh my God, where is she? Freaking out. Is she laying in the street somewhere? Because this happens a lot where I live. And every time I thought that, I had to be like, you have to let go of this. Whatever her pathway is her pathway. And it's about letting go. And I have to, I think that's some of my lesson for the next few months. It's really about letting go of some things. But so she disappeared. And then when she came home, finally, after a couple of days, she was neither eating nor drinking. And I was just very worried, because it's one thing, not to eat, but cats have to drink. And then, so I'm like, oh, hell no, you're not going out. If you don't go out until you eat or drink, that's the bottom line.
Finish your water.
And so over the next couple of days, she started to improve again, and get back to herself. So I don't know whether I don't know what happened. I really don't know what
So
happened.
how long was she gone again, Julie?
She was gone for a good couple of days. I didn't see her. And then when she finally did show up again, no eating or drinking for a couple of days. So she just it was like, I don't feel well. I'm going to go hibernate somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, she was off the beaten path. I feel that. I don't know what that means exactly, just not somewhere where she would normally be, is what it feels like.
So then this morning I let her out, and no, last night, and she didn't come home this morning. And I'm like, what is up with this? So I'm sitting in my office, which faces the street, and I see her walking down the street, and I'm like, where do you think you're going?
Yeah.
So I called her, which she just pretends like she doesn't hear me. And
Of course.
she came back and she went into my front yard. She just plopped down, and I don't know if that's where she still is, but she has not come for food this morning. So I don't know whether she's trying my patience, or I don't know what she's doing, but
How old is she about, Julie, would you say?
she's 5 years old.
She's not that old.
6 years old. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
No. I'm just looking at, she wants some solitude and rest, which is odd. And she's you're a perfectly normal cat.
yeah, I think during the summer months,
Yeah, what during the summer months? What were you gonna say? What'd you say about that?
they really like to be outside during the summer months.
Oh,
She and Oscar, who's my other feral, it's her offspring. And they're happy to be outside. I mean, they'll come in and eat because it's handy, but they
yeah.
have wanderlust during the summer months.
Exactly. That's a good way to say it. That's kind of what I feel. And what I felt too is that she's very attached to being out in nature right now. Maybe again, like you said, something to do with, but just she's got this a good part of her she's connecting with nature.
And she's a hunter. She loves to go out and hunt the mice.
Mhm.
And I'm like, please don't bring them home to
Yeah.
she trapped one near the house the other night, and I'm
my
like,
gosh.
or a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, no, go away. I had to push them away, and hopefully it escaped, but because I don't want them bringing it in,
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. We've had
no,
those
do not bring me
experiences.
that gift. I do not want that gift. So
Oh,
I've
thank you.
I have made it clear to her. I'm like, thank you very much. That's very sweet. Please don't bring me the gift.
Yeah.
But she truly never has brought it in after
Oh,
that.
good. Well, good.
She listens.
She got the message that.
So the
I
cats.
love it.
So yes, homage to the cats today, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I'm trying to think if anything's going on with my kitties. Nothing real. Just shedding.
Oh
Time
boy,
of the year, they're
right?
just kind of shedding. Yeah, but they're doing okay. They're loves. Teddy likes to bully Big Teddy likes to bully the alpha sometimes a little bit awful, like a little rug or something goes over and catch them off. And
I think that's fascinating. They do because
I know.
mine does that too, and it's like,
Yeah. What was interesting is when, I don't know if I ever said this before, when we had our other cat that's now since passed, sadly. But we bought Jake and Bernie, was his name, at the same time, or adopted him, I should say. Well, you do buy him too, but you know what I mean. Adopted them. And so Bernie made himself the alpha. I could tell that was happening. It was kind of subtle because they were both, pretty even Steven, right? They came out on the, equally into our home. But then it was interesting to watch the changeover when Bernie was getting sick and how Jake then would literally, I mean, they were good friends. They tumble together. It was the sweetest thing. I miss that so much because it was just adorable. But Jake started, like, he would jump on his back and do the bite at the neck.
yep.
And it's horrifying to watch that. We're like, get off of them, and everything. And it was terrible. But really it was a realization that he was starting to say, well, I'm alpha now. And it's just, I finally had to, I mean, of course, we didn't let anything bad happen. It never went bad, but Bernie would just let him do it. He'd let him kind of,
I they're fascinating to watch. I'm trying to bring up a picture. Hopefully I can do it before we're done here, but because Felix does that too, he goes after everybody. He truly goes after everybody. And I just feel like it's so mean. I'm like,
it wasn't so mean.
stop doing that. But he has one cat who I'm looking for a picture of, who Theo, who will play with him. And they do the same thing. It's the posturing and then
Mhm.
tumbling and they're good buddies, and so lately Theo, I bought this thing for Theo I didn't buy it for him. I bought it for cats a long time ago for anybody who would use it. It looks like a cat cave. And oh my God, this is
Oh,
taking
cool.
forever. And Theo found it. And so I call it his cat cave because I have taken pictures of him and it's a brown, it looks like a cave. And he just goes in there and he's all by himself in there and he
Oh,
just
they
is
love
very
that stuff.
happy.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can, I'll keep waiting to see if it'll pull up. But I'm like, he was in this morning. I'm like, I'm so glad you're in there using it, but
Hey, and I loved your video of the skunk.
oh my gosh.
Julie is the skunk whisperer. Tell them the story, Julie.
I think I'm just an animal whisperer, I mean,
Exactly right.
it's just the way it is, but
Right.
I can't, this is gonna make me nuts. I don't know why it's not coming up, but anyway, I think he just heard me. I was just like, no, you turn around and go back, and they sure enough did.
So
But they are
cute.
so cute. Are they not the
Uh-huh.
cutest things? Oh my
I
God.
know they are. They are just cute from afar. Unless perhaps you've raised one or something and but yeah, no, that was sweet. But yeah, no, they have it is interesting, like you said, to watch them if nothing else. When I've seen things happen with our cats where of course we'll intervene if there's, any real problem. But then I finally had to say when my two cats, because we have, like I said, Jake, the survivor, became the alpha. Bernie sadly passed. And when we adopted Teddy, it took a good, I'd say 6 months, seriously, for them to get to accept each other. I mean, we did all the right things. We did all the things you're supposed to do at the beginning and all that. And, you know, I mean, they're friends now. They will never be what Jake and Bernie were together, which again, it always saddens me in that way, you know, but in all fairness, two males. Teddy came in as this big boy and Jake had to deal with that. And I'll tell you, there was for a good, well, before the 6 months, I felt like, what did I do to my poor Jake? I mean, I felt so bad. I really did. He would tell me things. He would tell me things like, seriously, animals feel this way. Like, I just want to go home. And what he meant was,
Yeah.
he'd tell me that, and that he was thinking of like checking out. And I remember he was above my head sleeping when we were having this discussion. And I had to just, you know, talk him off the ledge basically, and just, you know, let him know that it's okay. You know, you're the king, and we love you so much. And, you know, we can't just get rid of him. We can't do that because he is a sweet cat. Teddy is a sweet cat. It was just a typical thing. He just wasn't ready for this cat to come in and, you know, but sure enough, I think another intuitive even told me like, oh yeah, no, they'll be friends eventually. And they are friends, not what, like I said, what Bernie and Jake were together. Now they're friends, but they still have their moments for sure that they kind of, they've got their own spaces. They don't cuddle. Jake does try to go up to him and sleep close to him. If Teddy is already asleep, then Jake will go over and try to get next to him and sleep sometimes. They do have their playful moments, but they will never, they respect each other's spaces big time. Like they won't get too close into playfulness because they know it'll turn into something a little nasty.
Fascinating. They're just fascinating.
Yeah, they are.
So Theo, if I don't know what's taking so long here. Maybe I'll have it for next time, but he's just the sweetest boy. And he is one of the kind that will groom the others.
Mhm.
And he just gets along with everybody. And he'll play with Felix, and he loves and licks all the others, and he's just really the sweetest boy. If only he'd let me trim his nails.
Oh yes,
because they are like needles.
Yeah, it's a two-man process in our house for sure. I mean, if I was single with my cats, no way, I'd be taking them in to get nail trims.
Well, I have taken him into the vet, and he is not a happy camper because
that doesn't help either, right?
He's feral by nature, but I can't. It would be two people in my house too, and there's only me, so it's and I don't want to subject anybody else to that.
I know, exactly.
Anyway, I think we have come to the end of our time. Is that
for today?
I'm gonna let this go.
End of our time for today. Yes. Thanks for viewing us, everybody. We do appreciate it. So remember, if you've got any comments, any questions that you want to ask us, throw them in. We will address them for you and the best that we can.
And we love talking about anything, and we loved our cat talk. And we just truly appreciate your support. It means so much. So
yeah, it really does. Absolutely.
Your comments, your questions, keep them coming. In fact, Daphne, she submitted questions, and I don't know when I'm going to channel again privately. So I may bring those to our next who are we? Two Psychic Moms. Oh my God. Maybe I'll bring that to next week. We'll talk about that. So
yeah, that'd be great. It'd be nice to have some things to channel on. So that'd be great. Yeah.
So keep those coming, Daphne. I'm sure we're happy to talk about those. So. All right. So that's it for us, Two Psychic Moms. Until next time, you can find us at
for me, Tammy Langowski, tammy'sintuitive.com, and Tammy's Intuitive Services for Facebook and Instagram channel messages. I'm an intuitive advisor to your questions, so you can contact me through really my website. And we hope that you are going to be viewing these YouTube videos. You can find, our names everywhere on there, so you just Google our names as well, really. So anyway, that's for me and Julie.
Julie, I'm Julie. I'm a little out of it today, I think.
Me too.
And
Apparently I am.
right, I mean, really, I
Anyway.
told you I did the same thing. Um, if you could see, Bella's laying on my keyboard and I don't dare move it because I'm
Oh, of
afraid
course
to
not.
do something, but I can be found at juliehawkins.com. I have to go in and clean up my website, so I might do that this week. We'll see. I'm working on some other projects. Anyway, juliehawkins.com, bizpsychic.com, and yeah, and YouTube. That's where we are. I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic, and Two Psychic Moms. So yeah, keep those questions coming. We love
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good
Till
week.
next time.
Bye-bye.